right, hello. Welcome to my very first ever garden tour. I've never done one of these before, but a few people have asked for that in the forum and in the comments on like the Q&A video, I think, or in the forum. So yeah, this is it. This is my patio. There's not much here. There's a cat. There's a lot of strays in our area. They are everywhere. I'm surprised. There's a bunch living by the trash cans over there. They're not, I don't know, we're gonna have to get them fixed. But yeah, this one we call Shadow. One of my nieces named him. We think he might be the father of a litter of kittens nearby. Some of my onions, these are just green onions from the grocery store. I plant these all the time because you can get them for like $1 at the store, and there's no reason not to just plant them in the dirt, and then you have unlimited green onions for a long time. This was a brassica. This was Brussels sprouts. It is no longer Brussels sprouts. It is too hot. Also, I think something, looks like there's some holes on it. Something ate into it. Over here is my husband's tree, which our cat Cricket thoroughly destroyed with his claws. I found a volunteer tomato out in the grass earlier this year, and I put it in here. It's not doing so hot, but I tried. An attempt was made. Look at this. That's interesting. You can see the tree is trying to regenerate from where Cricket scarred it. But yeah, this is I don't know if it's gonna come back. All right, we'll keep walking. I have some flowers up here. Not many. Some petunias. This is salvia. And then, of course, a gnome. Always have to have a gnome. That's a thing you'll see a lot on this property. I'm slowly filling up the house with gnomes. That's something me and my mom are both really into. This is kind of like a little play area that I built. I watched a bunch of TED Talks about people building natural playgrounds, and then I was like, I want to build one of those. So I actually found these stumps. Someone was getting rid of a tree. They cut it down and they were like, can you haul these? And so I took them. They're here, and now the kids play on them and have their little councils here. Of course, we also have a tire swing. Very nice. That's actually a tire that I found on the property and spray painted it, drilled holes in it, and then of course we now have a tire swing here, which is pretty neat. Kids really like that as well. It's a little low. We might fix that eventually. This was like the start of a playhouse. It's kind of jank. I don't know that we'll ever finish it, but it's fine. The kids like to play in here. I also tried doing a wildflower patch here. I don't know if you guys can see that very well. The sun's starting to go down. I tilled all this up, and I planted like 3 or 4 packets of seeds here. Only like a handful came up, so I don't know. Wildflowers, I had a really poor germination rate. I think I didn't add any compost to the soil, and I think the birds were watching me while I put it in. So I think they just kind of ate all the seeds when I put them in. So that's why we didn't get a whole lot either. This, by the way, this is one of the maple trees we tapped this year. Let me see if we can find the spot. I thought we did. We couldn't get this tap out. We had this tap 2 or 3 times. But yeah, we tapped this for syrup. If you follow me on the forum, you may have seen where I was like, hey, we made our own syrup. And we did. It worked. Okay, let's head over here. This is the area by the garage. So this was the first garden bed we made. There was nothing here when we moved in. It was just grass. I covered this whole area with, I almost said compost, cardboard. We did that as a weed layer, which is kind of iffy, as you can see here. There's still weeds coming up in a few places, but it does okay. And then this year we planted onions, which we've pulled most of them now, but you can still see there's a few down in here. And then lettuce, which is what this giant thing is. I'm currently letting these go to seed. I don't know how well you guys can see that on the GoPro, but the plan is to let those go to seed and then replant them in the fall because they are a cool weather crop. They have bolted at this point. Yeah, pretty good harvest. We didn't eat nearly enough lettuce to warrant planting this much. The onions, I think we've got like 30 of, which is not bad for a harvest. For a first year too, we've never grown onions before. And then that's just kind of like a little side garden area. This is the main garden. We'll turn you back around here. So these little sticks you see on the edges, they are fences. Well, they're fences. They're actually tobacco sticks that I have shoved into the ground to make a fence. And then I've tried to kind of figure out how to make a wattle fence as well. I don't have willow available to me on this property, so I tried a couple different branch types, and it's kind of not great, but I don't know, maybe I'll try something else in the fall. I'm probably gonna have to pull these up because as you can see, this is getting pretty weedy. I put down cardboard here, but I didn't have enough to cover the whole area, so you can see, I mean, it's just starting to get bad again. I'm gonna have to put it down. This whole area, when we moved in, it was just dirt. There used to be a barn right here, and when we moved in, they had completely torn it down. It was just like a pile of rubble. It was eroding really badly. Every time it rained, you'd have like water and stuff coming down. So when we moved in, I was like, well, this is where I want the garden because it's full sun right here. And how do I deal with the erosion? And I don't know that I've dealt with it perfectly yet, because when it rains really, really hard, we do get a little bit of washout still. What we did was put down wood chips everywhere, which was a lot of work, but we did it. I had chips delivered by a local arborist. They were free. And then put down cardboard, newspaper, whatever, and then just threw wood chips on it over and over again for months. And I mean, it works okay. You can see there are some weeds starting to come up now. Again, this was kind of an area that we didn't have enough cardboard for, or, you know, it's right on the edge of the bed, so it's not too surprising that grass would come up there. But I mean, all in all, it works pretty well. We don't have to mow this anymore. But yeah, this is the garden. Right here is my pumpkin plant. I grew these from seed. I'd never grown pumpkin from seed. I've always done it with a start. And they've done surprisingly well. You can see some of the blossoms and stuff down there. They're just now starting to blossom out. Early in the season, I had an issue with squash bugs attacking these plants, which if you follow, again, me on the garden forum, you'll know that that was a major problem last year as well. It actually killed my entire crop. But this year I picked them off, threw them in soapy water, and I sprayed the plants with some neem oil, and that seems to have resolved the issue. So hopefully we will get some squash this year. And then we will head over this way. Got corn. This is my first year growing corn not in a container. A few years ago, I grew it in a patio container, which actually worked, not exceptionally well, but it did work. You can see here, we're starting to get little ears on some of the older plant. Oh, what are you? Are you a squash bug? I hope that's not a squash bug, chat. But yeah, we're starting to get some corn on these. I have starts on this side, which are ones that I got from a greenhouse and then just planted directly in the dirt. And then this side over here, I planted these a little bit later. These are from seed. So hopefully they will keep coming up over the season. I think these actually look a little bit healthier than the ones that I got from the greenhouse. Or at least they seem to be a little thicker, so maybe we'll get lots of corn. I think we'll at least get a few ears. Over here, we have the tomato bed. And there is nothing in this bed but tomatoes. Lots and lots and lots of tomatoes, which I have poorly trained over these trellises. I've got two varieties here. 4 Fantastic, which are these big, like, thick boys here. And then I've got 4 Cherry, which the package said cherry when I bought them, again from a little local greenhouse, but look how big these are. That is absurd how big they are. But I don't know, we're getting quite a bit of harvest off of them. We got our first harvest maybe last week, and you know, you can see quite a few more turning red, so good news. Over here we have a little bit more lettuce that has bolted, planning on getting more seeds out of that. I really love the way that these look. As they get bigger, they're very tough. Like, you would not want to eat this. Very Susian, like, it looks so neat. I've never let a lettuce go to seed this far. So over here, we have a couple different things. I kind of just threw a bunch of crap in here, to be honest. So we have cucumber plants. There's 4 cucumber plants total, which are producing quite a bit. I wasn't sure that they were going to survive. I think they had a little bit of sun scald earlier this year. Over here, we've got a couple bell pepper plants, 2 jalapeno plants, which may have been overkill. I don't know that we'll be able to use all these jalapenos. On the other side, we have these little tiny snack bell peppers, which are getting also sort of weirdly large. This was a bell pepper, but he didn't make it. Rip bell pepper 2022. And then this bad boy, this is probably the best squash that we've got this year. This is a butternut squash. I have never grown butternut squash. I mean, look how prolific this thing is. It is everywhere all at once. I'm not really concerned about it at all. Weirdly, the squash bugs seem to really like this, which is apparently rare. From what I've read about squash bugs, they don't really like this particular kind, but for whatever reason the ones here do. So I had to really monitor this when it was smaller, but now that it's gotten big, we haven't really had any issues. You can see quite a few little squashes starting to grow in there. I'm really excited for that. I'm probably gonna make soup out of those, puree them. If you have recipes for butternut squash, let me know. Over here, this is a mess, but I'm gonna show it to you. This is my potato bed, and I've done kind of an experiment here, and I don't think it maybe worked out, but we will pull soon. I did Ruth Stout beds for these, where you just pile lots and lots of hay on top of your potatoes. I tilled up the ground first as well, and then just threw a lot of mulch down on top. I'm not sure how well they're doing. You can see a lot of these are starting to kind of die back finally. These are a purple variety. They're actually probably, I don't know, they're okay. They probably need a little bit longer, but like these, I think, like look at them, they're probably ready to go. So I need to pull these soon. We had an issue earlier this year with what was it? Colorado potato beetle, I think is what they were. We'll see if that affected our yields at all. You can kind of tell when you look at the leaves really closely. There's little tiny like bite marks in them. So that's how you tell. Also, we found the larva on some of the leaves, which was not great. But hopefully we'll get a harvest from these maybe in like a month. I think we harvested our potatoes last year in August, but we didn't do them in ground last year either. We did them in bags. So I don't know. I put 6 pounds in. So with any luck, we'll get a decent harvest from that. And then over here, I shouldn't even show you guys this because there's not really much to show. This is my homemade trellis. Again, made out of tobacco sticks and bamboo sticks and other things like that. This is not great though. I have lots of beans growing here. None of them are really producing. They're just kind of doing whatever. I'm not sure that they're going to survive. We tried. It does add nitrogen, I think, to the soil when you plant beads. So, I mean, even if we don't get a yield, that's something. I tilled all this up, but you cannot tell anymore. I did not mulch this well. I'm going to have to put way more hay on it this fall if I want to keep the weeds down. Also, here are my grapevines. These are very small. I'm hoping, I don't know if they're not doing real well. Never grown grapes before. They're not doing great. They're okay. They're growing fast, but maybe not as fast as they should. And this is our little homemade trellis as well. This was just made out of wire. We bought the wire from the hardware store. We had a bunch of these nasty old fence posts everywhere, so we used them. Yeah, I'm hoping eventually this whole side of the garden will be grapes. Just a big wall. But at this rate, I mean, I'm trying to be aggressive about pruning and stuff and training them up, but they are taking their sweet time, chat room. What kind? I think these are Tomcord grapes, which is a hybrid variety between Concord and Thompson, which is supposed to be like a nice wine grape and a table grape. Yeah, this is the main garden space. I have a few other things I can show you. I've been dabbling in perennials and wildflowers, like over here. Got lots of sunflowers, which are beautiful. I actually put wildflower seed mix in here, which you can see. There's a couple that tried, but again, you know, I didn't put any compost in this. I just tilled it up, and I don't think that most of those flowers liked that level of crappy soil, except for the sunflowers, which seem to have done just fine. I wish I had planted more if I had known that they would have this much trouble. Over here, we have our blueberries, which, again, this one's kind of a mixed bag. Look at this, chat. That is probably a problem with my soil not being acidic enough. I have put soil acidifier in. I've tilled it in multiple times at this point. I put another treatment of it on recently, but everything I'm reading online is, this is apparently some sort of like iron deficiency sort of thing. So, I don't know. We did get a harvest off of these. The birds got most of it, but the kids did get to harvest a little bit of blueberry. There's a few more over here. These ones look a little better. I think they're a low bush variety. You can still look, there's a berry right there. You can still see some of that reddening on the leaves. They shouldn't be doing that. Not at this season. They would do it in like the fall. Anyway, this is it. Oh my gosh, there's a deer back there. I was about to just do a sign off there, but let's go back and see the deer. Whoops. He's looking at me. Sometimes they come up in the garden. They haven't eaten anything yet. I'm gonna slowly walk toward him. I don't know if, can you guys see him over there? I can't zoom on this camera. We'll come down this way, so maybe he doesn't feel as threatened. If you guys are interested to, I can do a woodlands tour as well. We've got a lot of really cool biodiversity here. As you can see, there she goes. Hello, beautiful. She's headed for the trail. There she goes. All right, bye. Well, that was it, chat. Until we were rudely interrupted. Anyway, that's my garden tour. If you guys want to see more of this kind of thing, let me know. It's an experiment. I'm trying out new things in 2022. So anyway, bye.